Okay, today we're doing page 177 and 178, and we are borrowing with uncommon denominators. Borrowing with uncommon denominators. So our first problem we're looking at is 1a. And for these series of problems in number 1a, b, c, d, e, and f, what we're going to have to do first is get the common denominator. And then our second step will then be subtracting and borrowing. So 1a, we have 3 and 1 over 4 minus 1 and 3/8. And we know, and we've said it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. To add and subtract fractions, you must have common denominators. So we've got to think about our 4 and our 8. And what is the lowest number that both 4 and 8 will go into? The lowest number that 4 and 8 will go into is going to be 8. So I'm going to make an 8 here, and I'm going to make an 8 here. I'm going to bring over my whole numbers, the 3 and the 1, and put a couple equal signs here, because whatever we make over here, it is going to equal the original problem. Now we got to ask ourselves, 4 times what will equal our 8? 4 times what will equal our 8? 4 times 2 is 8. So whatever we do to the bottom times 2 here, we then need to do it to the top. 1 times 2. And whatever we get goes there. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, now for the bottom one, it's going to be much easier because it's already done. 8 goes to 8, so we just bring a 3 over. Really what we're doing is 8 times 1 is 8, so 3 times 1 is 3. Now we have, for our problem, we have common denominators. We have 8 in both of them. So our second problem is we have to borrow, because you can't take this 3 away from the 2. You can't take a bigger number away from a smaller number. So now we're going to borrow. We're going to borrow from the 3. We're going to borrow 1. So the 3 becomes a 2, and we're borrowing 1. Now we've learned that any number over itself equals 1, whether it's 8 over 8 or 100 over 100 or 1 over 1. Any number over itself will equal 1. And so with that in mind, we're borrowing 1 up here, and it becomes a 2. Since this is an 8, we need to add 8 over 8 to our 2 over 8. We're taking the 1 of 8 over 8 and adding it to the 2 over 8. And so now we're going to have 2. Now I'm going to add 8 over 8 to 2 over 8. Gives us 2 and 10 over 8. Minus 1 and 3 over 8. Now it's going to be easy. 10 minus 3 gives us 7 over 8. 2 minus 1 gives us 1. And our answer is 1 and 7 over 8. A lot of work, but it can be simple the more we practice this. Let's look at 1b. We have 6 and 1/3 minus 3 and 5/6. So to add or subtract fractions, we must have common denominators. We need to take our denominators, our bottom numbers. Remember, denominator is the downstairs, denominator's downstairs number. 3 and 6 are not the same. They need to be the same in order for us to add or subtract. To add or subtract fractions, you must have common denominators. What's the lowest number that both 3 and 6 will go into? They both go into 6. That would be our lowest number. So I'm going to bring my whole numbers over here. And I'm now going to ask myself, 3 times what will equal 6? 3 times 2 is 6. So if I do a times 2 here, I have to do a times 2 up here. 1 times 2 gives us 2. Now, 6 times 1 is what's going to give us the 6 right here. So 5 times 1 just is a 5 here. We're just bringing it over. Now we have common denominators, but now we're running into a second problem of you can't take 5 away from 2. So you have to borrow. We're going to borrow from the 6. We're borrowing 1. Since that is a 6 there, we're adding 6 over 6 to our 2 over 6. 6 over 6 plus 2 over 6 gives us 8 over 6. So now we have 5 and 8 over 6. And then on the bottom, we're just bringing everything over. 3 and 5, 6. We can subtract now. 8 minus 5, we get 3 over 6. 5 minus 3, we get 2. So we have 2 and 3 6. And on this one, we're going to have to reduce. 3 6 can be reduced. 3 goes into both 3 and 6. So our final answer will be 2. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 6 two times. 2 and a half. 2 and a half. All right, next problem. We have 11 and 1 over 10. 11 and 1 over 10 minus 9 and 2/5. I'm going to erase this and scoot it over a little bit. 11 and 1 over 10 minus 9 and 2/5. And I'm going to start to speed up now. We're getting the idea of what we're supposed to do, so I'm going to go a little faster now. The first problem we have is we don't have common denominators. To add or subtract fractions, you must have common denominators. Our 10 and 5 are not common. They're different. We need to make them the same. What's the lowest number that both 10 and 5 will go into? It's 10. 10 is the lowest number that both 10 and 5 will go into. This 10 is just the same, so we're going to bring the 1 over. 5 times 2 equals 10. So 2 times 2 equals what? It equals 4. So now we have common denominators. We're going to have to do our next part of this is borrowing, because we can't take 4 away from 1. We can't take 4 away from 1. So we have to borrow from the 11, and we're left with 10. The 1 that were borrowed is going to be 10 over 10 plus what we have here, 1 over 10. When you add those together, you get now 10 and 11 over 10 minus 9 and 4 over 10. Now we can subtract and come up with our answer. Our answer is going to be 7 over 10, and 10 minus 9 is 1. So we get a final answer of 1 and 7 over 10. 1 and 7 over 10. Go ahead and do the rest on your own. You're smart. It'll be easy. I believe in you.